Awesome. So these are some before pictures that you have.
Yeah.
And yeah, why don't you tell us about the house and what attracted you to it in the first place?
All right. Well, we found Koukun originally, and then Koukun referred us to Jeeva. And we interviewed a number of real estate agents before we chose Jeeva. We knew that we wanted a real estate agent that was into investing, and specifically in the area that we were in, Welland and small family homes. So Jeeva just like hooked us as soon as we started talking, and we really clicked. And he's pretty handsome too. we went out with Jeeva, I think it was 3 times, me for 2 full days or 3 full days, and my husband came up for 2. And he was so ho-hum about all the houses we looked at. We probably looked at 20 with him, and Jeff and I went home and we're like, this is new to us. We kind of need direction. And then he calls me and he's like, you gotta see this one. And I was like, oh, there it is, the excitement. So we rushed to this house. I think it was just me. And he said, these are the reasons that you need this house. And we had seen others that were similar, but clearly this one was different. One of the things that was different was the driveway. So you can see it's like double wide at the bottom and then has a big long driveway along the side, separate entrance on the side too. So there was no need for people to share an entranceway, which we really liked. We thought that we could attract better clients and better rent prices as well. If you give people a really good product, hopefully they will treat that really good product well. But if you give them a painted product and it starts dinging, then they see scratches and maybe they don't care if they ding it more, right? That's been our mindset with this entire reno. And for that reason, we spent a lot of money, but we hope we spent it now and not ongoing. People come and they are like, so we share this backyard? And I'm like, no, this is yours and this is theirs. And it says it very clearly in the ad, and yet there's still, but are you sure this is all ours? So that was definitely a value add for us to have this big backyard. And there's the layout. We didn't change anything up here.
Yeah, there used to be tiles on the walls.
Yes.
And I was telling you to keep it, but I'm glad you didn't listen to me on that one.
Yeah.
I was trying to save money.
We did not save money anywhere.
Yeah.
There were tiles all along, and apparently the person who built this house put that in on a number of the houses on the street. So it was really nice to keep it clean with 4 kids that lived in here, but we had to cut it out and re-drywall. And these are actually plaster walls in some places, so it was hard for them to blend the plaster and the drywall, but I think it looks good.
Yeah.
What was your biggest headache in this project? And can you tell us about what didn't go wrong? Because this is the first project we've seen finished today for
What did or didn't go wrong?
What did not go according to plan?
Okay. So there was only a few things really. I guess the main one was the timeline.
Right.
We bought in December, right before Christmas. And so the banks shut down over Christmas, the city shuts down, and the architect all shut down. So for us to expedite everything to get things lined up for our closing, which we had only a month later because it was already vacant, that was just too quick. So all the contractors we interviewed, which were 3, Jeeva set us up with 2 of them, and we ended up using the one he most recommended. So that was a good thing about having an investor realtor, because then they can set you up with all the right people. You set us up with our architect, our lawyer, our insurance person, and our contractor.
Right.
And so that was really nice to know that we trusted you and we could just use those people and not necessarily even have to look for someone else.
Love your terminology now, like everything about like grade and
that was one thing you constantly were talking to us as we were looking at houses. Like, even though he was relatively monotone and neutral about the houses he was showing us, he was critically picking them apart, pros and cons, right? Constructive criticism and anti, as we were going through. So we were learning. So by the time we saw this house, it was easy for us to buy into all the reasons you wanted this house for us, because we had seen what else was out there and we knew why this house was just better.
I remember asking if you wanted to convert the garage to a 3rd unit.
Yeah.
But you chose to keep it a luxury 2 unit. Can you explain the reasoning why? Because most people would want the 3rd unit for extra cash.
Yeah.
Why'd you stay with 2?
This is, our headspace for every decision we made was we wanted it to be something that we would want to live in and that we would be proud to have in our neighborhood. And this is a very family-friendly long-term neighborhood. These people, I've met them all now, and they've all been here for years. And we didn't want to be the renters, the people, the investors that came in and made this a rental neighborhood. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, being a renter's neighborhood, but it wasn't our thing.
I think what you get, so you get less rent, but in exchange for that, you're getting a higher quality tenant.
Yeah.
Because they're getting that garage, they're getting the entire space, entire basement. So it may not show up in the monthly income, but long term, there are definitely benefits.
And this is all a long-term game for us. We're both self-employed, so we don't have a pension. So this will be our retirement, the cash flow from it, or selling it if we need to. So this is our long-term plan, is to make it really quality.
Awesome.
We also separated electrical because we had to do all new electrical through the whole house anyway. It was still functioning, but again, because we were already opening walls, we figured let's do it now instead of in 10 years when something does go wrong. So this is the electrical panel for upstairs. So our rent, $21.25 up here, is utilities included, so water and gas, but they pay their hydro because it's separated, so it's an easy thing. They just get the bill comes straight to them. The microwave, it's vented right out the wall, which is also to code. We put in a big sink with, this is something I don't have in my own house. I would love to have in my own house. So we made sure that they had that. Lights everywhere.
Even your outlets, you have USB chargers, which is great. I normally don't see those.
Yeah, right there, because they can sit on the stool, work at their computers and charge that. Like, we just tried to do everything that we would want. I don't know, this might be a mistake. Maybe you can have me back on in a year or two and I'll be like, why did we spend so much money? But
on my next project, I did half the cost.
Yeah, so.
Tour today, got an opportunity to visit 3 different properties, kind of at different stages of the renovations. It was great to see the different, as an experienced investor, it's always good for me to come out and see what's going on in the marketplace as we're in an ever-changing environment. So it was always an opportunity to learn new things. So it was great.
What do you find for these tours? What things do you pick out of the most in terms of learning about the industry?
You know, at this point, it's a little, for me, it's about the little things, you know, with working with Koukun and Ryan and listening to what these investors are experiencing. You know, you hear what their challenges are, and it's always a good reference point to, you know, to my experiences in the past, and then it gives me insight to how I might change things in the future.
Interesting. What's one thing that you took out of this tour today?
Oh, that's great. You know what? I took out that people are still investing and still doing these types of projects and still have the courage to, you know, in this ever-changing market, to do big projects. These are big capital expenses. You know, so it's good to see that that's happening, and it's got me thinking, like, you know what, there's opportunities out there still. And
I just sense of comfort in an uncertain market.
For sure. And I think working with like Koukun and Ryan, it's been great over the years. I've been with them now for 3 years, 4 years, a couple of projects, and it's great to see how they're growing as a team. They continue to provide great advice to me, so it's good to continue to be a part of this.